Welcome back to Switchstars everyone, where today on the channel we're going to be taking a first look at Fishing Planet, an apparently true-to-life multiplayer fishing game which has finally come to Nintendo Switch after releasing on all other platforms including Steam and mobile. Now it's been donkey's years since I last played a fishing game, and in fact I think I've only ever played a couple in my life, the most notable being Sega Bass Fishing on the Dreamcast, but I actually remember enjoying that one and have quite fond memories of it. The question is though, does Fishing Planet offer an engaging and realistic fishing experience, and is it worth your time? Well, to start with, the game is free to play, so no need to worry about having to drop some cash just to try it out, and it's apparently a pretty good game when you get into it, but it does appear to be another one of those free to play and grind your ass off to progress extremely slowly kind of games, or drop some cash to get some souped up equipment and fly through the levels so you can actually get to the fun parts. The game also requires a constant internet connection, and in my short time playing it, I did get disconnected and booted back to the main menu, so that's just something to bear in mind. Now, as soon as the game boots up, you're required to sign up, and right away I experienced issues trying to navigate the text boxes, but we'll see more on these kind of issues shortly. After you've created your account and accepted the end user license agreement, you'll then get to create your character, choosing from either male or female with a selection of very limited and generic faces, hairstyle and pants of all things. But no other customization is available because, as expected, a lot of this is limited to the cash shop. Once happy with your appearance though, you next drop straight into a short tutorial which teaches you the basics, and by the basics I mean the absolute basics, as you're kitted out with a standard rod, tackle, reel and lure, and tasked with throwing a few lines and catching a few fish. This is as simple as hitting ZR to cast your line, waiting to get a bite and then reeling it in by holding both ZL and ZR together, and if you've got vibration activated you'll also feel the bite and the fish struggling on your line. But actually catching a fish is as easy as it is in something like Zelda or Animal Crossing, or at least on the surface it is. You see, there are a number of on-screen UI elements that aren't really explained to you, like what is this coloured bar at the bottom, presumably an indicator of some sort on how much a fish is pulling, and what are the controls on the right. Well, the second part of the tutorial informs you that your float is leaning to the side due to the line being too long, so you hit down on the D-pad to shorten it. But you can also hit left and right, which do other things, and none of this is actually explained to you, nor are any of the game's other mechanics, other than how to change your lures by tapping R and selecting one. The depth and complexity of this one though appears to require intricate knowledge of fishing if you want to do anything other than just stand there catching the same old fish, as the shop is filled with different kinds of equipment for you to purchase as you construct your own rod setups, but I don't know the difference between a Minispin 800 and a Callisto XSR 1000, and there's no instruction manual to tell me. After completing the tutorial though, I was directed to leave the lake and return to the globe, at which point I was rewarded with some cash and XP, and arriving at the main menu, I was given a daily bonus and a challenge reward. I was also prompted to purchase a premium pass and a lucky start pack, and while the in-app purchases don't seem overly invasive at least at this point, they did pop up every time that I leveled up. From here though, I could access my inventory, and this is where my second issue with the game was highlighted to me, as the menu system is absolutely atrocious. Half of the menus don't actually appear when you select them, navigating them is horrendous with you using both thumbsticks, but you don't actually know which one to use half the time, and more often than not, it doesn't even seem to switch between menus and sub-menus, and this is the same whether you're using the globe menus or the menus whilst you fish it, so it appears as though some work is still needed to get this functioning correctly. Whilst navigating my inventory though, I somehow managed to unequip my rod, and it took me 5 minutes of fiddling back and forth between menus before I was able to work out how to reconstruct it. Accessing the shop, I found a wide assortment of items, including rods, lines, reels, tackles, lures and baits, each with a description and list of their attributes, but once again I didn't understand the difference between any of them. But it's also worth noting that although you can earn in-game cash, there are certain items which require premium currency, and the premium cash shop is extensive, with multiple bundles to choose from, ranging from a few dollars up to $50 or $60. So between these and the premium pass, this game really wants you to spend some cash on it. Back in the standard shop though, I was able to purchase a fishing license, and it appears as though each license grants access to a certain area for a specific amount of time, and there are multiple tiers to the licenses, though I only actually had access to Texas, and although I managed to purchase an advanced Texas license which granted me night fishing rights, I couldn't actually work out how to change the time of day, so I never ended up doing any. Heading back into the game though, I did spot more fishing, and as I made my way around the 3 different fishing spots available to me as a lowly level 1 fisherman, I encountered various clones of myself, and while there is an in-game chat system, nobody actually appeared to be using it. The fishing experience didn't change from one spot to the next though, and while I was able to catch a variety of fish, there was nothing setting one apart from the other besides the appearance and weight of them and the XP and cash you earned from catching them. And I also failed to catch fish on several occasions, with the game telling me that I had failed due to the line between the rod and float being too loose, but it didn't explain how to actually fix this. Finally, I attempted to swap out my rod and tackle whilst in game, but I was told that I couldn't do it here and had to return to the globe. But upon accessing the in-game menu, I found that I couldn't actually select the leave option, and hitting X did nothing. So it's not just the menu system that's buggy in this one. So that was my experience with Fishing Planet, and it wasn't a terrible one, and I'm sure there's a lot more to it than this when you really get into things, as I saw that you could actually purchase boats, and the Steam version mentions an ocean update allowing you to do a spot of sea fishing I presume. But I have to say, the early game was exceedingly dull, at least for me it was. If you're a passionate fisher in real life, the monotony of standing around staring at the scenery whilst waiting for a bite might appeal to you, and hell, with easy access to a fridge, you can even crack open a beer whilst you do so. But unfortunately, it just didn't resonate with me, possibly due to the surface level complexity, or maybe it was just a lack of any real guidance. Still, it's free to play, and if you've been looking for a fishing game to sink your teeth into, then I suspect that this one is the best the Switch has to offer. That though just about does it for this first look at Fishing Planet on the Nintendo Switch. So let me know in the comments whether you picked it up and given it a go, and let me know what you thought about it. For now though, as always, thanks for watching, subscribe for more Switch reviews and content, and until next time, take care of yourselves and game on.